Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today I am very excited because I am going to talk about a new brand that I have been exploring lately, and they are called Dede Signature. Now, a few months ago I was doing my wrap up for 2025, and I was like, okay, these are my top 10 palettes for the year, and I realized that I really didn't have a whole lot to choose from. When I first started in makeup, I guess in 2022, 2023, I embarked on a quest where I found a bunch of brands that I liked, and I decided I would just buy most everything that they released and review it. And I had quite a few brands that I followed. But I'm realizing now in 2026 that a lot of those brands have kind of gone to the wayside. So I used to buy from It's Belle Cosmetics, which is no longer in business. And there were a couple other ones that have Menagerie Cosmetics, which is still in business but hasn't had a new release in a long time. And also Adept Cosmetics, which is still releasing, but I chose to stop buying from because I had a not so great customer service experience. So now I'm just looking at other brands and trying to think about other brands that I would like to follow and purchase from and review for you guys. So one of the brands that I was looking at was Dede Signature. And I also picked up some palettes from Gourmand Girls, which I will do a video on. And I also got some from Glamlight, which I might not end up doing a video on, but their prices are so reasonable that I might continue picking up Glamlight palettes as they come out. They're usually not like in my aesthetic, but I might pick them up anyway just because the formula is usually so good and the price is so reasonable. I think I am also going to start purchasing from Adept Cosmetics again, just to sort of give it a chance. Okay, so I have in front of me 4 palettes from Dede Signature. I tried to pick up sort of their last 4 releases just to get a feel for what the brand has been doing sort of recently, but also so I had like a wide sample size. I didn't want to just pick up one palette and judge the whole brand based on the one palette in case it was like a really over-the-top good release for them, or in case it was a not so great release. So the 4 palettes that I picked up, I got their most recent one. This is Sweethearts and Secrets. And this one is super gorgeous. And I did a whole video on this one not too long ago. So you can check that out if you're interested in this palette. But this is what the color story looks like. Super pretty. I also picked up their palette Broken Jewels. This one is also super pretty. It's a little bit more neutral. But yeah, that's the color story. I think they just came out with a pre-order for this, so this is available if you are interested. It was out of stock for a while, but now it's back in. This is their From the Roots palette. I actually think this one is my favorite. It has a really nice color story, and it has a lot of color options to play with. I really like this one. And then I also grabbed their Festive Elegance palette. This one was their sort of holiday release this year, and it is very red and green, but it's kind of a more muted, neutral leaning red and green, so I kind of liked this one. Okay, so first I'm going to tell you what I think about Dede Signature overall, and then real quick I'm going to rank these palettes 1 to 4 just in case you are thinking of purchasing something from Dede Signature. And since, as you can tell, I'm going to be ranking these palettes and recommending them, I will tell you that I really do like them. They are really, especially the quality of the mattes I found was really fantastic. A lot of indie brands do the shimmers well, especially now that these more like squishy shimmers have kind of made their way out to almost all of the indie brands that are producing makeup. So it's hard nowadays to find a shimmer palette that isn't done well, which puts a little bit more focus on the mattes when we're talking about quality. And for me, the mattes from the Dede Signatures palette were just superb. Like, I was incredibly impressed with them. So yeah, I'm going to be purchasing from this brand in the future, and I will be letting you know what I think about their future palettes. As far as price point, they are on the pricier side, so more expensive than, say, a Blend Bunny, which honestly has stayed pretty reasonable over the years, and pricier than Nomad Cosmetics for what you get, I think is maybe the better way to put it. Nomad Cosmetics usually does bigger palettes with more pans and sometimes more shimmers, but the price point is kind of around the same, but it's just like the bigger palettes, and the quality of the palettes themselves. I'm trying to explain what I mean, because I don't mean the shadows in the palettes. I mean the quality of these like little boxes that we keep our shadows in. Nomad Cosmetics really just blows almost all indie brands out of the water for that, in my opinion. So what you're getting for the price from Dede Signature is a little bit less, but it is certainly less expensive than what are some of the outrageously priced indie brands, in my opinion, like Bella Beauté Bar, Ensley Rain. All those are just so expensive. I will not buy them. They're too expensive for me to even consider. And to be totally honest, I don't know what they could have that is so amazing in quality that would justify that higher price. They really seem to be very similar to the palettes that other indie brands release. So to me, I think Dede Signature strikes a pretty good balance. It's a reasonable cost. It's definitely on the higher end, but compared to other indies, it's pretty reasonable. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and rank these 1 to 4. 4 to 1, actually, we'll do it backwards. And as I am ranking them, I'm gonna go ahead and put up beside me some looks that I did with these palettes. Now I can't exactly describe them for you because frankly, I've been doing this project over like 2 weeks, so I don't really remember a lot of the looks that I did, but I will do my best. At number 4, we have Festive Elegance. One reason is a little petty. It's just the rest of the palettes I got were this nice kind of square shape. So it just doesn't fit nicely in the drawer next to them, which that's just me being super picky. But I also didn't really love the color scheme of this one. It is fun to have a sort of a muted holiday palette because I think we don't get as many of those as we do get like either bright holiday colors or like very kind of pastel wintry color stories, you know, like the blues, purples, whites. So I do like that they did this, but it still just isn't quite my style. I honestly don't remember what look I did with this one, but I feel like I stuck with kind of the neutrals because I wanted it to be more of a neutral look, since we are far away from Christmas. But I think there's a lot of really fun things you could do for the holiday season with this, or also if you were looking to do like a monochromatic green look, I think you could create something really neat with this. But it is kind of a little bit limited in that way. You could do neutral, you could do holiday, you could do monochrome green. I don't know. I'm sure you could find something else, but to me, those are like the 3 things that stand out. And I'm not seeing anything that's like crazy creative leaping out at me from this palette. Quality-wise, it is very similar to the rest of the Dede Signature palettes. This shimmer is a little bit finer, and the other shimmers are kind of that big flakes, which are not always my favorite, but they do create like that really neat reflective look. So that's pretty cool. Number 3 is Broken Jewels. And honestly, this is all going to be really nitpicky stuff because I really liked all of these palettes and I felt like they all performed really well. The reason that Broken Jewels was kind of that number 3 for me isn't because there was really anything that I disliked about it. It was just because there wasn't anything that stood out to me as an absolute favorite thing that I liked. I don't have really any complaints about this palette. As I recall, the look that I did, I used this darker like pewter color and this lighter green color, and I think they turned out looking pretty cool. Oh yeah, it was sort of my agender flag look. Because I used some green and then this looked like really black, and then in the corner I put this white. So it was pretty cool. It was a nice kind of black and white with a pop of greenish color look. So I had some fun with this palette, but the color story did not speak to me as much as the color stories of the next two palettes. All right, this one was number 2 for me, Sweethearts and Secrets. And again, if you're really interested in this palette, I did do a whole video review of it and I swatched all the shimmers. It's a super pretty palette. I really liked the color story of this one. It's one of my favorite color stories that I've seen in a while. One of the looks that I did was a very pink and orange salmon kind of a look, which I thought was really, really pretty. That still stands out to me as one of my faves. And I did another look with sort of peacock vibes and colors, which I really, like, I liked the colors. The look that I did was not my favorite, but the colors were really, really fun. So this one in particular, I think, has a great color story. And it does also have these large flake shimmers. And again, they make those really cool, like reflective, opaque kind of designs. But I didn't get a lot of creasing, so I was pretty impressed with that. And then my number 1, which I think I accidentally spoiled earlier in the video, but whatever. This one is from The Roots. And this is the palette that I used for the look that I did today. I chose this is called Royal Descent, this like bright royal blue, and I just put that all over the outer corner because I really wanted like a lot of color. And then I used Harvest Crown, which really, when I swatched it, is kind of a neutral color, but put on my lids next to that blue, it really brings out the orange so that it looks much more colorful than I thought it was going to be, which is kind of fun. It has a nice contrast to it, the blue and the orange together. And then in my inner corner, I used this shade Divine Dust. It's like super shiny. It would make a nice highlighter or a topper, but I also thought it was a really fun inner corner shade to use. I also did another look with this palette. I'm trying to remember what. I know I used this shimmer Sacred Thread because this one has like huge flakies. And I was wondering, because this one has like a purple sort of outline all around the edge, so I was wondering if that would affect the color, but it really was primarily just this darker brownish with just like a hint of pink in it. And then I also used Ancestor Veil, this lighter color towards the front side, and those two together were just so pretty. And I think that's what I really love about this palette is that while it does only have 5 shimmers in it, it gives you a lot of options for looks that you can do. Because you have like a really light blue, you have like a really light white, but then you have some like colors that you can put on the darker side of the lid that are still shimmery. Kind of olive green, your brown, this sort of lighter brown, which again turned out looking more orange next to the blue, so you can even play with that, like what colors you're putting next to each other to bring out more hues or to kind of make it look more muted. I don't know, I love this palette. I love this color story. So those are my thoughts on Dede Signature. Overall, it is a really high quality brand, which I appreciate very much. And it is a little bit higher than some of the more, I don't want to say low end, because like Blend Bunny and Nomad Cosmetics are in no way low end indies, but they are on the less expensive side of indies. And Dede Signature is not on the less expensive side, but it's also not on the super expensive side. So it occupies this nice middle ground with really good quality. So I'm going to keep buying from them, and I'm going to tell you all what I think, and I would love for you all to tell me what you think. So if you have any comments, please do put them down in the comments below and we'll talk. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day.